Continuing. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. Now, stripping Jesus of his raiment and putting a scarlet robe on him has to do with two classes of women, believers and disbelievers. I think you should listen to this. In Surah 2, verse 187, Allah refers to the intimacy between a man and a woman as apparel. And they are an apparel for you, and you are an apparel for them. Now, apparel is clothing, especially outerwear, garments, attire, and raiment, or anything that decorates or covers. The elevation of women serves as proof of the Messiah's divinity and of his respect for women, to say the least. This, in part, is how he's covered. How then can anyone accuse the Honorable Louis Farrakhan of being a misogynist or a hater of women with the MGT, Muslim Girls Training, displaying the highest levels of decent, civil, and righteous behaviors? Well, they can't, unless they make the MGT appear to be worldly and secret. This is how the Messiah is stripped of his raiment. They strip the MGT of the persona of righteousness. Therefore, the synagogue of Satan, in its mass media blitz, intends to portray the MGT as unscrupulous, lesbians, promiscuous, and even lovers of white men. How can the satanic leaders do this? Well, they have tracked the activities of some MGT because government agents have infiltrated the Nation of Islam to seduce weaker members into partaking of unrighteous behavior. Now, let me just say this. Being in the Nation of Islam does not mean we are righteous. It does not mean that we are without faults or bad habits from the world of sin that we come out of. What it means is that we are in the process of purification. It means further that we have dedicated our lives to helping Allah and the Messiah. Now let's deal with the other class of women, the disbelievers. This is the scarlet robe that is placed on the Messiah. The colors of scarlet and purple. Purple is mentioned in Mark. Both are mentioned in the book of Revelation, chapter 17. And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. This is John the Revelator getting a vision from one of the seven angels mentioned in the book of Revelations. Continuing, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abomination of filthiness for her fornication. Such women belong to the beast or dragon. In other words, they have been made to hate righteousness and despise Allah's Messiah. Therefore, the satanic leaders use women to cover Jesus with scandal by inventing lies about him and fomenting hatred against the Messiah in the Nation of Islam. Now, as I said several years ago, the face of the news media are women who do most of the news reporting. And this is why we have a news environment, or so-called news environment, filled with gossip, slander, and innuendo.